All right, welcome everyone to At What Cost, doing something that we've attempted to do before. We're going to cast some 5v5 Dawngate games in a very, very odd apparatus. I'm TheSource, joining me is Azaraki Dragon. Azaraki, would you like to explain to our viewers exactly how this craziness is going to work?
Alright,
All right,
so
welcome.
basically, we're going to be able to do this live because of a bunch of
We've
weird
attempted to do
workarounds
before.
with screen regions and all that stuff.
Got a
So,
got a little bit of weird echo. Hold on one second.
alright,
All right, we should be good. I had some echo feedback from the dashboard.
alright, cool.
Continue.
So yeah. Basically, we have both sides of we have two perspectives, one from each team, and we're going to flip back and forth depending on which one we think is more important at the moment. And we both have both videos, and we're going to play them at the same time on two different screens. So that's how that's going to work, because we wanted to keep the feel of an actual cast where we don't look at the games beforehand and we don't, so we don't know what's going to happen. So, I don't have mad prediction skills and he doesn't have false excitement or something like that. So this is how we decided to do it, and I don't know if Ron was flipping back and forth between the two as I was talking, but it's a little bit of a demo as to how we actually do this.
I wasn't actually. I was in the middle of. I was configuring things.
Get on the ball, man.
Things needed configuring. They'll see it in a second. I'm just making sure that everything is nice and cleaned up. So these matches, guys, are from the Dawngate Stars League that happened over the weekend. This is actually the finals, the grand finals. It was a double elimination bracket between BOB, which is Band of Baddies, and LDFH, which is Live Free or Dive Hard. So,
Like that motto.
Live Free or Dive Hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a jungler, so it makes sense.
Here, let me get my laptop set up a little bit because I'm watching Twitch chat on my laptop, so I can still see what you guys say. But yeah, I don't have a third monitor. I'm not one of those luxurious people.
Yeah, I've got a lot of monitors, which is basically how we're doing this, guys. We've got the two videos synced up. We'll be flipping back and forth. So be advised, I am the spectator mode. You guys are you may rage at me for missing stuff, but I am the spectator mode. And again, we're stuck in the perspectives of the two players. So we'll be following, I believe it's Tussle Ray from BOB will be on one screen, and the other one should be Fat Sea Turtle, the jungler from LFDH. So should be able to get into game in just a moment. Make sure everything's nice and set up. Alright. So I'm going to swap things over. So yeah, as you guys can see, there's the LDFH, and swap back. There is BOB. So, Azaraki,
We're going to have to be on the ball with our observing. And this is like old school, not super old school, but semi-old school League of Legends casting where directed camera wasn't
a thing.
good at all.
A thing?
Well, it was a thing, but when they had spectator mode, but the directed camera just didn't pick up anything.
Yeah, it was missing first bloods.
You had to watch the map the entire time and all that stuff. So we got a little bit of experience doing crazy stuff like that, but we'll see how this actually works out.
Alright, so we'll start the BOB video in 3, 2, 1. And we'll be starting up the other video to make sure that they are perfectly synced, as I'm not an editing master. And for the most part, there wasn't a super clean way of doing it. So on BOB's side, they are running Tactician Moya. Be ready to start the other video now.
Yep.
So they're running Tactician Moya. They're running a Gladiator Amaranth, Gladiator Varian, and a Jungle Salus with, I didn't see what the last Tactician was.
Neither did I. I think Renzo. Did you already mention him?
No, I didn't get the Renzo.
All right, cool.
And just to make sure, there we go.
Seeing opening item builds look like health all around the board, except for a few shapers who got power and resilience, and those would obviously be the jungler and one of the not really AD carries. Would we call them AD carries? They're basically AD carries.
Yeah,
That
range damage gladiators. That just doesn't sound as good off the tongue as AD carry.
and that also includes mages, so you'd have to be saying ranged auto attack carries.
Yeah, we
That's
see
still pretty long.
so we see a little bit of invasion coming in from the side of BOB. They snuck into the jungle, saw Salas and Fenmore. Moya is going to slip his way up towards the Parasite area. And over on the other screen, we've got LDFH moving in towards their power buff. So they were scared of that invasion. Looks like we're going to see standard jungle routes out of both junglers. And MC Krags is moving over towards his armor buff right about now and should be able to pick that up. Wow, Petrus should be starting his power very, very soon.
Indeed, he is going to be starting his powers. So, like you said, fairly even jungle starts, and I'm actually seeing that one cool thing about the jungle sort of meta right now is that if you know where the enemy jungler starts, one thing you can do is start on the same half of the map as them. So right here we're seeing Petra start at power, while Salas is starting at resilience, and this basically just prevents either team from taking the buff and then going into the enemy jungle and stealing the opposite buff that they're taking. So this is sort of a safer style of play, and it also helps you keep tabs on where the enemy jungler might be at any given time.
Yep, and as you guys saw, I tabbed down too many. So make sure if I mess up one of the tabbings, you guys yell at us in the chat, and Azaraki will let me know. So we've got Petrus working his way onto his haste buff. Same with Salas, and a little bit of action down in the bot lane too. So getting very, very aggressive on the Tactician Moya, which isn't something we see very often.
Yeah, lane Moya is very weird, but with some of the way the Gladiator and Tactician works, it sort of benefits some style of play like that. And I can't see what loadouts these guys have started, but I can only imagine that Tools started with a bunch of health regen, which is generally what you want to do on a lot of assassins, or sorry, not assassins, tacticians. A lot of tacticians that require themselves to be in close range in order to get the tactician bonus. And as you can see, he's going to be juking out a couple of skills and basically going into attack, walking out, and then he's going to wait a little bit while his health regens, and that's basically a pretty good way to get tactician bonus on someone without a lot of range.
Yeah, and we can see if we look at his health bar, he does have 30 health regen, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good, I'd say, for, you know, a non-pot Moya. Going in, getting a little bit of damage down. Over on the other screen, we've got Petrus making his way through the jungle. Looked like he was going to go in for a gank, but didn't really make a play for that. And he's gone for almost a full clear. He's hitting level 4 now at about 3 minutes. And down in bot lane, again, a little bit more action. We had a little bit of a glitch there, I think. A little bit of frame rate loss. And there was actually a first blood up in the top lane. We couldn't see it because there wasn't a camera shot on it, but BOB was able to pick that up onto the LDFH Mara.
Like we said, we're still limited to the two perspectives that we can see from these two players, so if neither of them actually look at any other action that's happening, we're bound to miss it. So a little bit unfortunate there, but however, that is going to be a kill, but here comes a gank.
Yeah, Petrus did come in, didn't manage to make too much of it. Salas is going to join up with the rest of his team, and some deep warding going down from that Fenmore. Petrus will be clearing out a couple of jungle camps, and we see over on the other side a little bit of help taking care of the money pigs, so Moya was able to go down, help Salas take care of that. Yeah, no, I think Petrus came in a little early. Desecrator wasn't in close enough to land any of his additional CC, and Fenmore's not going to do much help during a gank other than do damage, and looked like...
Tools got a new follower.
Yeah, Tools managed to pick up a follower, so that follower hype.
Yeah, when talking about the Desecrator Moya matchup, one thing that's basically going to decide whether or not Tools succeeds in this lane is how well he can juke through the skills of Desecrator, because Desecrator's kit is skill shots. They're not traditional skill shots where, you know, you fire a projectile in one direction, but either way, you still have to be able to land those, and technically that qualifies as a skill shot. So if Tools can use his dash to, I think it's called Bolt, to basically jump around and dodge any of Skyness's CC, then he's going to be able to have a pretty good time dealing with that lane.
Oh, whoa. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a fight and a gank up in the other lane, but nobody stayed on it very long. Salas did come in for the play, so he was able to help pick that one up. And again, I apologize, guys, for tabbing down again. I'm just like, wait, where's that screen that has that gank? And then the gank is gone because somebody tabbed away from it. So,
saw a flash of LOL Pro stuff in the.
Yeah, well, that's the one that's below me, below those two OBS scenes. So I'm trying not to do that, but I keep doing it every once in a while.
Right, yeah. So fairly standard game so far. You know, we're not seeing too much deviation, even from the standard pick meta. You know, on either side you have your mage, you have the jungler, who's generally a tanky bruiser, and you also have tacticians on either side, as well as your ranged carries, both on Nisa and Varian. So that's going to be something that works well in both teams' favor, and we're not really seeing anyone go crazy like we did last week, where FDAT actually went for a 4-tank / bruiser and an Ashabel comp.
Yeah, no one going for that. So we do see Petrus making his way in there to try and harass the Salas at his resilience buff. Didn't manage to get too far in. Moya came over and helped cut off the pathing. So good teamwork there. Salas will be hitting level 7. Moya is close to that level 6 engage, which is why I think they went with the Tactician Moya. They wanted the double engage potential of a Moya-Salas lane, or Moya-Salas combo when it came to team fights.
Yeah, and as I've been talking about for quite a bit on At What Cost as well, Salas has one of the best ganks in the game right now. Basically, he's got one of the longest range dash abilities, I want to say, a way to enter the lane, and it can really catch people off guard because he can sit outside of the range of a ward, and if he lands it correctly, he's going to be able to dash to whoever it is he hit, and he's got CC to follow that up as well.
Ooh, Petrus taking a lot of damage there. Eats the bubble and the ultimate out of 50 Shades of Alpha. That's going to be a kill pickup, and again, another kill pickup by BOB. They were able to kill the Nisa up in that top lane. So a lot of action going on up there. Unfortunately, we don't have a viewpoint from there. I don't think I could possibly handle tabbing through 3 screens, so we'll have to suffer a little bit of damage coming out of Prime Knight onto that Varian, and Moya's bait backing, sort of just spamming B in the bush, and Varian will be backing to pick up another item.
Yeah, that Stream of Light is actually more OP than a lot of people think it is when you go back and cancel it really quickly, but it looks like Tools will be deciding to pick up Vigor first, so going for a little bit of early tankiness as well as extra sustain in lane, which is pretty standard, I want to say, especially when you're playing a melee tactician like Moya, who doesn't have a lot of ranged poke. You know, once again, you want to try to get as tanky as possible in the early game so that you can go in, proc your tactician bonus, get out, and then regen a lot of health. Vigor is going to help doing that because he gets health back from any minion that dies around him. So that's going to be good in that respect, and on top of that, he's also got a resilience and a will, so those are just going to help overall beef him up.
Yep, a little bit more fighting. Moya's going to get locked up. Takes up a little bit of poke from that Fenmore. Over on the other screen, we've got Fat Sea Turtle continuing to try and speed up his jungle ride as he's a little bit behind the Salas. Salas is level 8. Fat Sea Turtle is 1 level behind him. A little bit of roam coming out of the members of BOB. They're sneaking around. They may catch Petrus out in the jungle as he's in that corner of the map. And now the pings are going down onto the Nisa. We've got a 4-man gank coming in here, tanking up a lot of the damage. Is the Moya, and they're gonna bring down the Nisa. I don't know why Moya just stuck. Like I couldn't remember what word that was, and goddamn, I keep tabbing down to.
Good job on that respect. That is complete sarcasm right there. But on the other hand, yeah, that was a
move.
Gank, and
Move.
There we
go. I fixed part of it.
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
Right,
I removed 2 of them, so I'll stop tabbing, or 1 of them, so I'll stop tabbing down as bad. I apologize, guys.
Alright, so I like what Tools did there. He started tanking the tower during the gank, but then used his ultimate not only to reposition Nisa, but also to stop tanking the tower and to divert it to someone else, who at the moment was MC Scrag. So that basically switch tanked the binding and prevented either character from dying, and both of them got out with about half health and a successful kill.
Yep, Tool's taking a lot of damage there, trying to, I guess, aggressively play on a Desecrator. There's not a lot he's going to be able to do at the moment. Over on the other screen, we've got Fat Sea Turtle trying to roam in for something, but back down in bot lane, Amaranth comes in for the play. She gets off the bubble and the ultimate. A lot of tanking coming out of Tools. He's just sitting there eating the damage for them, and that was a really good roam gank. Now there are 5 members from BOB down in this lane. They should be able to push down onto the tower. We've actually got MC Crag going on the side deck, doing a lot of damage. They do manage to lock him down. He's a Mara, which is very tanky. In comes the Petrus, spinning to win, but isn't doing enough damage. Lockdown onto MC Krags. He's going to go really, really low. The Nisa ultimate doesn't do the job. It's going to be a finish off from that, not Ignite. God, that drain, and they aren't going to manage to get the tower. They're going to be forced out for the moment, and another kill pickup by BOB. And
that was a really
back onto the
good
tower
by BOB, but yeah, back onto the tower. They have enough health to force this down, especially after one member of LDFH died and another one went back. So it was a 3v4. Tower was at just a minuscule amount of health, so they managed to pick that up basically for free, and now they're going to start harassing the Spirit Well a little bit. Not really going to be able to take it yet, as it's not 15 minutes into the game, but, you know, every little bit helps. You know, even in StarCraft, sometimes you see just a tiny bit of worker harass from a probe or something like that. Something really small, something that just kills 2 or 3 workers, but every little bit builds up and adds up and eventually turns out to a pretty big lead. So BOB just playing as efficiently as they can and trying to get any advantage that they can possibly get over LFDH to try to win this game.
Yep, so Fat Sea Turtle continuing to try and clear some of that gap, which is continuing to stay at a solid 1 level difference between him and the enemy jungler. He's getting harassed a lot in his jungle. There's been a lot of invasion and roaming. You know, his build is going okay. He's starting to reach that tankiness. He's not going for that potency Petrus, which I've been seeing a little bit of more recently. You know, what do you think of potency Petrus? Because it does do a lot of damage.
I personally don't like it that much, because the thing about Petrus is that his base damages are already really high, especially considering that his Q is a percentage of max health damage ability. And on the other hand, you know, you can get a little bit of extra damage, but you got to think of how much tankiness you're actually trading for that. You know, a level 3 tanking item is actually quite substantial in making sure that you can survive. And honestly, part of Petrus's strength just comes from being able to stay alive throughout a fight and keep spamming abilities, spamming abilities, and spamming abilities. You know, his E, if he hits a Shaper with it, shortens the cooldown on the rest of his abilities, so that can be something that helps him, you know, put out more CC, put out more damage overall, and he's basically one of those Shapers that wants to stay in the middle of the fight as long as possible, and giving up a tank item, even though it helps you kill a single target a little bit better, you're not going to survive as long for your AoE to proc on the entire team.
Ooh, bit of engagement coming in. They've done a lot of damage to this Renzo. He's going to pop his ultimate, try and get away. Ultimate out of Fenmore. He's been drained to try and slow him down. Salas going into the middle of them. Stuns up 5. Moya in there as well. I don't think Salas is going to take too much damage. Nice bubble out of Amaranth is going to pick up another kill. And now they've turned. They do get the Moya ultimate onto the Mara to slow her down a bit, picking up a nice bubble kill onto the Nisa, and now Moya trying to escape, get away from the Mara. He should be able to get out of there. Ooh, nice vine by Mara. I still think he'll make it out safely. I don't think she's fast enough to catch him, and that is going to be Moya making it out alive.
Yep, Moya is quite hard to catch, especially when she has at least a little bit of energy. Bolt has a fairly short cooldown, so if you can have any energy at all, you're going to be able to keep spamming that over and over and over again. And Fenmore actually managed to steal that buff away. Prime Knight doing a very good job right there of securing the buff, securing his own team's buff that the enemy team was trying to steal. So really good job on that part. And it's just another, again, one of those smaller victories. Doesn't necessarily constitute a kill, a parasite, or a binding, but it's still one of those things that, you know, if Moya were to have it, then it could be problematic, because Moya scales pretty well on auto attacks as well.
Yeah, and now Moya is starting to tank up a lot, so Moya just going to be a straight tank initiator, not looking to do as much damage over on the other side. Fenmore starting to get a little dangerous. He was doing pretty good damage in that fight. They couldn't really bring him down too quickly. They did pick up the Nisa, and the Amaranth from BOB is starting to hurt a lot. I think I saw double aggression on her already.
Yeah, I didn't get a look at her build, but yeah, there you go. Double aggression is certainly correct. So we're having a destruction coming through as well as a rage. So that's going to be a lot of defense pen, and it scales pretty well because honestly, if we look at the team, there's probably going to be a lot of armor and magic resist on either side, and the defense pen is really going to help. Oh my God! Completely bursted down.
Yep, Amaranth came in for a really nice play, picked up the Petrus, and now we've got BOB going in for a aggressive Parasite play. They know the enemy jungler is down, they've got good control of it, and they actually do a fairly good amount of damage, especially just between Amaranth and Varion. So that's going to be pretty much a free Parasite plus a kill pickup for BOB, getting very, very far ahead in this game. We actually see Moya making her way to down towards the bottom left spirit well. So starting to get a little bit more control, and Salus is actually over on the other one, so trying to take as much map control as they can, even before the Parasite has started pushing.
Yeah, and this is really one of the cool things you can do if you know you have the control of the game. While the Parasite minions are spawning and while they're getting to the lane so that you can end up pushing, one thing you can do if all your waves are already pushed is, start taking
nice ultimate by Tussle. He's going to pick up the Fenmore. He's going to pop the ultimate. In comes the Petrus. A lot of good damage there. They're going to bring down one. They're going to bring down two. Are they going to get the Moya? Moya's still running away. He has been drained. I think he'll go down maybe one more second. Does manage to lifesteal off of it. Now over on the other side, we've got a lot of damage coming out from LDFH. They're starting to fall, though. The Amaranth is getting off the bubbles from right behind the enemy, the tank line. And it's actually going to be a 2 for 2 so far. They do manage to bring down the Petrus, and now Tussle looking for another kill. I don't think they have enough damage between the two tanks and the Amaranth, who has now gone back. So good plays there by both sides. LDFH for trying to pick up something even though they're behind, and oh man, is Tussle going to go in for this on the Fenmore? I don't think he should.
He's probably not going to. It's fairly risky, especially on Moya against a Fenmore, and we always keep talking about the amount Fenmore can sustain if in a 1v1 fight or in a full team fight. If he's allowed to get his abilities off, he will end up surviving a lot longer than you think he would, so really good decision right there, just to back and not try to fight the Fenmore. In terms of that team fight, I really like what LFDH did right there in trying to catch out BOB, because that was a really good play. Both Tools and one other shaper, I forgot exactly who it was, but they were both trying to rotate back up to the top side of the map, but LFDH was waiting there and ready to make the pick. One of the biggest problems in that play, however, on LFDH's side, was just the amount that they chased, right? Because they ended up chasing way too far, and they took poke damage the entire time, and a lot of their carries outside of Fenmore couldn't really sustain through it, and they just ended up getting whittled down, and eventually they lost a couple of members of their team and just couldn't fight the rest of the fight.
Yep, so Amaranth landed a nice bubble there, did a bit of damage. Petrus actually sent him back. Now that the Striders are starting to make their way in, we've got a little bit of a push coming in from BOB. They have the Striders starting to show up. Moya looking for to steal away a bit of a buff. And Amaranth taking a few free tower shots, but a nice bubble lands on the Petrus, and he goes down to about half health. He's got to be careful of those, especially with Salus and the rest of the team from BOB waiting around the corner. They don't seem to be able to make the play there. And actually, Moya going in to tank things up for BOB so that they can get another tower, another objective secured, and this gold lead is starting, to push itself ahead. We don't know exactly how much it is, but there are a lot of towers down on the side of LFDH.
And if you look at Sea Turtle's build right now, all he has in terms of magic resist is the Will, which is very basic magic resist item. It doesn't actually resist all that much. And
well, he's also got subjugation, which will help a bit.
Subjugation will help a little bit as well, but for the most part, he just doesn't really have a lot of magic resist. And on top of Tools building, so far, again, there's just too much damage and too much penetration for a lot of that to matter. So being so far behind, it's going to be really hard to see how well they'll be able to try to get back into the game, because these team fights are going to be interesting to fight, because the main tanks for LFDH's side are not going to be able to tank nearly as much as they should be able to, so a lot of these fights are going to come down more to positioning than anything else. When you're this far behind, you can't simply rely on Petrus jumping and getting stuns down and staying alive throughout the entire fight. You're just going to have to try to worry about positioning, and make sure that the enemy team just can't get to the carries in the first place. With Fenmore and Nisa, they both have movement speed buffs, so it's going to be a little bit easier for them to do something about it instead of a Vex or something. If they had Vex, then it would be really hard to come back from a situation like this, but a decent amount of self-peel is going to keep these two alive for a little bit longer, and we're just going to want to see how well they can position in these upcoming team fights.
And so we've got LFDH looking to take back a few of their spirit wells. They've got decent vision on the map. It's okay. They know that they're not about to be immediately pushed, so they can take some time to clear out the waves and maybe push a spirit well. On the other side of the map, though, we've got BOB starting up the parasite. It's already down to about a fourth third of its health, and LFDH has no idea this is going on. This is going to definitely be a free parasite.
Yeah, LFDH has not even had enough map control to try to ward out Tapera. And even now, even if they did have a ward on it, I'm not sure if they were really in a position to contest it. All 4 Spirit Wells, up until that point where they just captured that bottom left one, were taken on BOB's side. You know, BOB has, what is that, 14 kills to LFDH's 5. There's a really significant lead in this game for BOB, and it's going to be really hard for LFDH to get back into this game. They're really going to have to rely on either this binding or their Guardian if they want to try to turn a fight around, especially now considering that BOB has a Parasite buff, even when they were winning the team fights already.
Ooh, nice bubbles going to land. Takes Petrus down to about a 5th health. So, you know, he's starting to tank a bit. He's got 3 wills. So, you know, if he's not going to be able to handle a bubble, you know, they're going to start to run into problems soon. It'd be nice if he had those into some other item. That will passive isn't as strong as it was after the last nerf. But they seem to be able to hold out well for now. There are Striders pushing in the top side, and here comes a Strider wave. Little bit of poke landing on Mara. She's actually going to go pretty low. They're focusing the tower. BOB hasn't decided to dive just yet. Mara going forward with a vine. She's at less than half health. She definitely needs to back soon.
Definitely does, and it looks like there might be a counter-rotate trying to happen right now. BOB may be tanking it up a little bit, but they're definitely wanting to push down this binding as soon as it comes, and here comes the next Strider wave. It'll be here in a few seconds, so we'll see how well LFDH can target down the Strider.
Yeah, a lot of damage going down onto the tower, and now looks like Salus has gone in for the engagement. It's actually a really nice Guardian Laser is going to sort of zone them out for a little while. A lot of damage down onto Desecrator. He's going to fall. Amaranth landing a lot of bubbles. Moya has chased one of them out of the fight. Now turning on to Mara. She is going to go down following the Petrus, and now it looks like BOB is going to easily be able to push in and clean up the base. GGs are going out, and that's actually going to be game 1 of this best of 3 going over to BOB, and I think we'll quickly transition straight into the next game. I think the delay is maybe a few seconds.
Alright, let's try to resync as well, because I think I was a few seconds, or a second or two behind you as well, so...
Alright, we should... So there's a bit of a problem. The BOB stream at this point, Tools left up his Band of Baddies banner for a really long time, like maybe 8 minutes into the game. So we're pretty much going to be stuck on the LFDH side for a little while. But we can give you guys the matchups. We can give you guys the shapers chosen by Band of Baddies. They've got a Varion, Salus, Koggin, Mina, and I don't know, Desecrator.
Alright, so what I've done is... did you pause, or are you still going?
No, it's still going. It's at
right,
30 seconds in game.
Let's resync, though.
Yeah, so at 36 seconds in game.
36 seconds in game.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and where do you want to start the other video, the LFDH video? You said 36 seconds?
Yeah, both with 36 seconds in game.
Well, we want to start the LFDH one a little bit earlier so that we can have both of the two synced up to each other as well.
Oh, I have the LFDH one set to 36 seconds in game. And I have the BOB one set to 22.
Oh, okay. So I was doing the wrong one then.
It should be alright either way.
You gotta specify these things.
This is not a patented system. I highly doubt that anyone has done this before. There's no manual for this, man.
We're supposed to write the manual.
Yeah.
And you're the streamer, so I vote it's you.
Yeah.
Alright, so BOB's is 20 something?
BB's is 22.
22, and LFDH's is 36.
Yes.
Alright, in the meantime, if anyone has any questions in chat while we figure this out, feel free to post them. And we'll be getting back into the action as soon as we can. So 32?
22.
22. Right. Yeah, what am I saying?
22 on BOB, 36 on LFDH.
Alright, we're good.
Alright, so start BOB in 3, 2, 1. And then once you see 36, just hit the other one and then we'll be in.
So yeah, it looks like we'll be following LFDH for the
First
better part of the first
8 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Alright, so we are into the action. We've got Fat Sea Turtle already on the run. He sort of invaded a little bit and went pretty deep into the enemy jungle. Is going to get chased out. He's on Moya this time. The lineup for LFDH is Moya, Reyna, Mara, Mikella, and Asherbell.
And if we look at the BOB side of things, you already talked about this a little bit earlier, but we can start again. Varion, Salus, Koggin, Mina, and Desecrator. So it looks like it'll be Koggin jungle. I would believe. I can't really see too much through the Band of Baddies screen, but that's what my guess is going to be. Koggin is a great jungle. Well, Salus actually, right?
I think it could be Lane Koggin. Yeah, it's Lane Koggin.
It's Lane Koggin. Yeah, I
Lane
forgot
Koggin.
about the Salus. So Salus is going to be the one who's jungling there, and obviously because Salus is a very, very strong jungler right now, pretty much top tier. And as we said before, his engagement range is super long. On top of that, once he does engage, once he uses his dash, he's going to be able to follow it up with some CC there as well as a little bit of damage. So he's got everything you really need in an early game jungler, and even late game, his CC is still pretty significant, even though his damage drops off a little bit. So we'll have to see how that ends up going. Looks like there's a lot of poke going down already in the top lane, but that's kind of just what happens when you have Asherbell. You know, there's a lot of poke in any Asherbell lane. Yep,
and we saw both junglers starting on the top half of the map. So, looks like Fat Sea Turtle might be going for a gank. He's thinking about it. He should probably go back to a main clear, as I can actually see over on the other mini-map coming out of tools. Salus has gone straight for his haste buff, so should be able to clear that up pretty quickly. And I can't really tell what's going on in the other lane because Tools is a baddie and left up his screen. And I'm actually going to tab over so you guys can see what that looks like, because we're just like, what were you doing, man? What were you doing? So back to LFDH. We've got Moya clearing out his haste buff. Salus is actually a little bit ahead of him in this jungle route because he went straight for the buffs instead of curving around looking for a possible gank. So that may mean we see Salus coming out of the jungle a little bit before Fat Sea Turtle, and that could result in a really detrimental counter gank. If they run into each other at about the same time, that could be pretty detrimental. It actually looks like MC Krags is making his way towards that region of the map. He might be looking to come around. He's actually pinging onto the resilience buff, and he's going to hook his way back around, walking right into the Desecrator. Moya going for it. Now, nice knock up by Desecrator. Moya doesn't really have an angle to cut, and I think that means that MC Cracks is going to be able to steal away this resilience buff, and LDFH is going to have to go without. Now looks like Fat Sea Turtle moving around the map, trying to find something to make up for the fact that he just lost a major buff.
And a tiny bit of a mistake there. Fat Sea Turtle actually had his ward up while the invade was happening, so he could have actually ended up dropping down a ward in the brush next to Resilience, and he would have had a possibility to try to steal the buff away if that was being stolen from him. But basically Vanquish secure it for his own uses rather than Salus's, but unfortunately he didn't manage to do that, so he's just going to try to counter jungle a little bit of the smaller camps off of Salus. And again, games start out pretty standard, pretty safe, not really too much action happening, mostly just jungler mind games is basically what's happening. And as you said earlier, Salus was going to be a little bit farther ahead near the beginning of the jungle, simply because Fat Sea Turtle hesitated on the possibility of ganking top lane. The implications of that, I'm not really too sure why he ended up doing that, because his second ability was his E, which if you want to gank as Moya, you almost need your W, and that's going to empower your bolt so that it stuns anyone you pass through. And that's really important to have. CC in any gank is really important to have, so really odd decision right there way back at the beginning of the game to try to hesitate around trying to find a gank.
Yeah, it looks like Sal's winning for a little bit of a gank down in the bottom lane. You guys couldn't really see it. You can see it a little bit on the minimap. He was roaming around there. He's actually stealing away a little bit of upper jungle from Moya, and going in, MC Krags is going to try and land. He does manage to pick up the first blood, and he manages to get out of there, picking up the kill onto the Mikkel. I wish I could have shown you guys that, but it wasn't really that easily seen.
Band of Baddies still there.
Band of Baddies still there. I think it cuts out at about 8 minutes. 8 minutes, we'll get the Band of Baddies back. But
it took that long.
It's something like that. Like, it took him a while. I guess nobody on the stream said anything, or he wasn't looking at the chat. Either way, Sal's does go in, picks up the first blood for the team. That's going to set Mikkel behind. She's on her way back into lane. Not too much action so far. That was really the only play we've seen other than the, sort of jungler fake out. And now Moya making his way into his jungle, finding out that a lot more of it has been stolen than he thought. MC Krags has done a very good job of sticking into that bit of jungle. And up in the top lane, there is a little bit of a fight going on. You can see, those icons kind of on top of each other on the minimap. That's really all we've got for now. Fatsy Turtle is going to hit 6, and hopefully, I think in the next 2 minutes, we'll be getting Band of Baddies back. Till then, Fatsy Turtle, what have you got for us? Possibly an early discipline.
Early discipline is a fairly popular jungle route, or jungle build route, simply because it gives you so much value, right? It gives you haste, it gives you armor, and on top of that, it depowers anyone you decide to attack. So it helps with ganks, it helps with 1v1s in the jungle, and it also helps you just take less damage from clearing in the first place. Now Fat Sea Turtle is going to try to see if he can... Nope, not going to do anything about the Spirit Wall, just going to play it safe and farm up as much as he can. Sort of the smart idea here, because we saw 2 members of BOB up there in that lane, or up there near that well, harassing the minions down, so a 1v2 was not really the best idea, especially when Sea Turtle is not necessarily shut down, but he is behind, and counter jungling is one of the best ways to do that, obviously.
So Sea Turtle continuing.
Right, so we have someone whispering tools to take down his overlay, so...
someone told him!
Soon. Yeah.
Come on, Tools. Come on, Tools. Actually, we've got a little bit of a fight down here in the bottom lane. Moya going in, gets the stun off on the Varian. He's instantly going to blink away. Nice lockdown by the Desecrator. Ultimate coming out of the Varian. It's going to bring him really, really low. They really want the kill. He's so low. One more Desi ultimate might have done the trick, and Koggin is going to come in for the play. Hooks the Mara back. Not too valuable, but they do get a lot of people in there. In comes the Asherbell ultimate. Finally, some serious action. It looks like Psyduck is very, very low. He is going to go down, and nobody from LFDH has fallen. No, 2 from LFDH are falling. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's BOB on the other side. They're going to go with a 5-man stack, pick up the kill onto Reyna, and all of a sudden, 4-0 towards BOB. And come on, please take down your overlay.
Yeah, seriously. It's been up there for quite a while, and we're about near the 8-minute mark, so it'll hopefully get better.
Hopefully I was right on that, estimation. I was like, I think it's 8-something, maybe, possibly. At least this isn't my fault. I didn't mess up his overlay. He messed up his overlay. But a lot of good action there.
I can't just say Bronze bad and leave it at that.
A lot of good action there. Very good roam out of BOB to show up the moment they started realizing that Fat Sea Turtle was kind of going for that gank. That was about when they started their transition.
Yeah, and I really like, as you said before, the Desecrator lockdown was...
Oh my god!
And there goes the overlay! Guys, look at his screen. Look at his screen.
The beauty. The beauty, the wonder. The beauty, the wonder.
Oh, and just in time to catch a little bit of action up here, too.
Yep, in comes a lot of CC out of the Mina-Desecrator combination. They do pick up the kill. Desecrator's still alive. Nice roam in from the Koggin. Mina's going to need to get herself out of there. There's actually a little bit of follow-up coming out of LFDH. They were looking to possibly come in with the double tanks and pick up the squishy support. Couldn't do anything with it. Nice bit of CC out of Desecrator. They're going to lock down the Koggin for just a moment, but it's not going to turn into anything as of yet. And actually, that bottom tower went down, so Varian starting to get rolling a little bit. And a lot of pressure here still out of BOB. They really want this tower. Moya is waiting on the backside, starting to come in, is going to dive straight into the middle. They get the ultimate out of Ashbel. A lot of damage on the Desecrator. He's going to fall. Now Fat Sea Turtle turning his sights on the Mina. Gets off the stun. They're going to bring her down. Sal's coming in from the side. Fat Sea Turtle, is he going to go down? He does. Nice hook in by the Kagen. Michaela is here to back them up. Varian is not on the side of the map, so Kagen may fall. One more basic attack. Doesn't get it off. Nice lockdown out of Salas. And the ultimate is going to get blocked out.
That was a really good fight by both sides as well. And one of the big things that sort of turned it back into... I don't want to say in the favor of BOB because they still ended up behind in that engagement, but the Hook did a really good job of just making sure that LFDH was forced to disengage off of their towers. So LFDH got a team fight win, but they weren't able to pick anything up after that because they were so low because of the great Kagen hook that hooked them under the tower. So really good fight on both sides right there. BOB just overstaying a tiny bit right there, especially with Tools being at such a low amount of health. But either way, they're still pretty much in command of this game. It's 6-2 right now in favor of BOB, and the towers are also just barely in favor of BOB. We have 1-0 in the tower score right now. Para is still stage 1, so we could possibly see a team try to sneak it. Probably BOB, seeing as how much map control they have, but we might also see them just trying to force as many towers down as they can.
Ooh, we have a little bit of a fight here. Nice ultimate out of Moya is going to lock down the Kagen. He's taking a lot of damage. Ashbel ultimate is going to come out. It does catch Kagen on the edge, and they should be able to bring him down. Nice blink away by Ashbel not to take the hit from the Salas. Now Salas coming in from the side is going to get locked down by Mara. Mina's going to jump onto him, jump away, and I think that's going to be the end of the fight. There may be a little bit more engagement. Meanwhile, on the other side, a little bit of Spirit well harassed coming out of Tools and 50 Shades of Alpha. They were able to do a little bit of work there while their team picked up while their team lost a kill. So they lost someone. God, this is so freaky. No one's one color. They're both blue or they're both red. But a little bit of tower pressure here, and they're going to be able to force away Michaela, possibly taking this tower. They've got a little bit of a minion wave. Meanwhile, on the other side, nice gank coming in from MC Crags. They are going to pick up Fat Sea Turtle, and that is going to set him really far behind. He's at level 8 to Salas is level 10. This is starting to become a problem.
One thing I would like to point out about LFDH is that sometimes you really have to be careful with your ward spots. As you can see on the minimap of LFDH's side, there is one ward way up in the top side of the map towards BOB's half of the map, as well as in that brush, and he just hovered over it right there. And the one thing about that is even though they were hardcore pushing that a little bit earlier...
Might have a play. We might have a play. We actually do have a play. In comes the ultimate from the Reyna to lock down the dive onto the Ashbel. A little bit more damage. She does manage to knock them away. She's doing a really good job here. Desecrator is finally going to fall, but they do manage to pick up the Ashbel. Now the Reyna and Mara chasing down onto Mina Salas. Come on, Mina. One more jump. She doesn't have it. Actually, ultimate in from the Varian. They're going to do a lot of damage here. It looks like Moya has joined the frame. Nice hook back in by Kagen. Are they going to pick up the Reyna? They do finally get her. Now Salas trying to juke his way out of trouble. Nice Q back onto those minions, and they don't manage to pick up Michaela. So 50 Shades of Alpha and this Kagen caught a little bit out. They're going to try and do what they can. Nice blink over the wall. Comes into Salas, and they pick up the kill onto MC Crags. Now turning onto Fat Sea Turtle, or no, MC Crags picked up the kill onto the Mara. Chasing on a Fat Sea Turtle. They aren't going to lose anyone, and they should be able to continuously pressure down this tower a little bit.
And continuously press down that tower, they shall. One thing that I'd really like to point out about that fight, however, is the fact that basically near the end of it, LFDH sort of re-engaged again, and they actually ended up losing, I forgot who it was, but they ended up losing someone else.
Mara. No, they lost Reyna and Mara.
Right. And so sometimes the better option is to just disengage a fight, especially when you're behind. You don't want to try to press your luck, right? Unless you're so far behind that a gamble is the only way you can get back into the game, in which case that's when you want to press your luck. But in this case, you know, they're not super far behind. You know, it's 10-6 in terms of kills. Spirit Wells have stayed 2-2 for the entire game so far. It's less than 15 minutes, so no one can get a lead in that respect, other than just simple minion harass. But they weren't so far behind that it constituted such risky play. And, basically at this point you want to make a pick, make maybe 1 or 2 picks, win a small portion of the team fight, and then just get out before the rest of the team shows up. Like we saw there, LFDH was able to pick up 1 or 2 kills, but they kept chasing around any semblance of a fight that they could throughout the rest of the team fight, and that ended up giving up a couple more kills in BOB's favor. So a little bit of a misplay on their part.
Ooh, nice play coming in from the Mara. It does get a little bit of lockdown onto the Kogan. No play there, but the roam is starting out from BOB. Can Kogan land the hook he needs to? Doesn't seem like it just yet, and that tower is still up. They haven't been able to get enough pressure. That's the ping. The ping is to go in and kill that tower. They have their Varion here. They've got a little bit of range characters. They're zoning out with their tanks, and it looks like a little bit of engagement onto Salas. Salas is actually going to go in, locks up Fat Sea Turtle, and they don't manage to keep him there long enough to make a serious play out of it. Transitioning over towards the Spirit Well, and I think they're going to try and pick the fight out here. They can either LFDH is going to give up the Spirit Well, or they're going to pick a 5v5, and I don't think they feel confident in doing that.
Especially when they leave the safety of their tower, it's going to turn into a really risky play to try to fight the team fight. On top of already being ahead, in many ways, BOB's champions, or Shapers, BOB's Shapers, are really good at getting lockdown for Varion. And that's really something that their team is going to be playing around, because as we can see, they have 4 Shapers that can easily lock people down, and then Varion, who's a really good carry into the late game, especially when he starts getting his haste proc as well as the extra damage proc on his E. But we have an initiation right here.
Ooh, nice Kogan hook is going to bring everybody back into the center. Have they taken anyone down? Ashabel is the first one to die. Moya did ult Kogan up, ult Kogan up for just a second, but it isn't going to do much. They're going to get the Mara. They're going to get Michaela. Double kill the 50 Shades of Alpha, and that is going to be a 4-for-0 in favor of BOB. Now they can turn straight back to that Parasite. Now LFDH is going to have to turtle for a good amount of time. Their wave clear isn't bad. They do have Ashabel, but they're going to have to be scared for that double engagement out of the Kogan hook and the flying kick out of Salas.
Indeed. Now that was a really perfect example of how to peel off a Parasite, or how to deal with a team trying to stop you from taking Para. What you want to do is right there instantly peel off a Para and fight the team fight. Right, you don't want half of your team trying to continue to kill Para and trying to prevent it from resetting, and the other half of your team fighting the team fight, because that'll end up getting the team fight turned super easily. What they did was really perfect. They peeled off the instant they saw a team fight, they won the team fight, and then they could go back and take Para without any contesting whatsoever. If they would have stayed there and, had 1 or 2 people trying to stop Para from resetting, they wouldn't have had their full power of their team fight, and they might have actually ended up losing it. But at this point, that play right there that they made sort of skyrocketed them into the lead. They managed to take all the Spirit Wells on the map. They have Para, and on top of that, they're going to be able to get a, what is that? 6. Okay, so an 8 kill advantage. I was trying to read between an 8 or a 6 on the kills amount for LFDH, but they are 8 kills ahead, which puts them at a really, really good Vim lead. It's going to be really hard for LFDH to come back into this game. It's sort of the same story as last game, where BOB gets the early game, and then they just keep snowballing their lead afterwards.
Yeah, they do a very good job of sort of strangleholding it out. They don't make any overly aggressive plays. They've got really good shot calling. I'd like to know who the shot caller on BOB is, because whoever it is, probably I think it would be MC Krags as the jungler, but I'm not entirely sure, has been doing a really good job of just timing everything very, very well. So a bit of pressure into this top half of the map. Strider Wave starting to reach the tower. I don't know how low that tower is. And we've, not low at all, but we've got Tools making his way around the backside, getting poked out by the Ashabel, so good damage out of Prime Knight. And actually we see a fairly deep engagement. They dove really far into the tower. Out comes the Ashabel Dragon, not really doing much. Psyduck coming in from the backside, using that Mara tankiness to sort of walk his way through. Now MC Crag's tanking things up. Tools is going to take a lot of damage there, but in comes the engagement. A nice lockdown from Salas. Psyduck is in the middle of the fight. He can't do anything, and Moya doesn't manage to do anything. Nice Kogan hook is going to bring everybody back in. The drain is onto the Ashabel. Out comes the fear from Mina, and the GGs are being called. That is going to be BOB taking this in a 2-0 series. And that was pretty quick.
That was extremely quick.
That's a 19-minute game.
Yeah. they not even giving them the time to surrender that game, as we already see LFDH GGing out of it. But can we just talk about the ultimate stack on, or just the AoE CC stack on that last team fight, right? We saw Salas go straight into the fight. He saw people grouped up. He took advantage of it, got an AoE CC down. It was huge. Stunned multiple people, I think 2 or 3 people, and slowed the rest. After that, Min was able to fear. Kagan was able to use his glass combo.
Sand blast.
Yeah, sand blast or whatever. So he was able to use that combo, and that already took the entire team down to about half health. Varian was able to clean up the rest of the kills with the amount of damage that he does. And then, as you said before, great Kagen hook, pulling him back into the fight to secure the final kills for BOB's side. Really, really solid play by BOB in this tournament.
Alright guys, well that's actually gonna be it. It was a pretty quick 2-game series. I hope you guys enjoyed it despite my bad tabbing and the Band of Baddies banner that kind of messed things up a little bit. But we hope you guys enjoyed it. We hope you guys will comment on either the Reddit thread, what you guys liked, what you guys didn't like, if we need to change things in our casting, if we need to... You know, if I need to come up with a much smoother way of hitting the transitions, that was the big thing from last time, let us know, guys. You guys can follow us at TheSource AL on Twitter, at Azaraki Dragon, and make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube page where we'll be posting this VOD later, and also the Twitch channel if you guys want to see more of our work. And again, this is as experimental as we can. You know, if our casting faults, all we can say is, we're sorry, we're trying to work with very, very limited resources, and if you guys have any gripes, questions, complaints, or, things you want changed, let us know, because we want to keep producing content.
Yeah, eventually we're going to start getting more and more used to this. Right now, it was a little bit of our casting suffered, because we're trying to get used to this system that's going on right now, but we'll definitely keep trying to do this as much as we can before spectator mode actually comes out, to try to just produce more shoutcasting content and, get tournament hype all up in this business.
Yeah, and if you guys go back, watch the first cast we did, that one had better casting but worse video. This one had better video but worse casting, because we were kind of stuttering over ourselves trying to keep track of what's going on. Hopefully number 3 is going to have good video and good casting. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We'll be putting the VOD up. Show your friends, show your enemies, show anybody you think will enjoy a little bit of tournament Dawngate play. And something we didn't do last time, thank you to the teams. We haven't gotten any complaints out of these guys, but thank you to the teams who have streamed their VODs. It's been a nightmare for me to find them and download them and convert them and make all this happen. But thank you to LFDH, thank you to BOB, and also thank you to FThat, who was in our previous episode of casting, for producing streams of your tournament play and leaving that out there for everyone to watch, enjoy, and have some fun with. So if that is all, we don't seem to have any immediate questions in the chat. Thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys next time. If I can find the off button. Yeah.